What's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to this Saturday night soul session live with me, LC, and now my new guest, Laurie Anderson of the Laur's Sober World YouTube channel. And it's got to be a podcast somewhere, or we got to make it a podcast, or it's a podcast. I'm just so happy to have this woman here. I got the opportunity to do her show just last week or the week before, and I want to tell you something. The amazing conversation that we had is still feeding my soul. So I can't wait to bring her on and share her energy and her story and her love with all of you. But first, let me let you in on my new shirt from my friend Kim Bellis of Sober is the New Cool. I am so honored to be a part of the cool kids, to be a Sober is the New Cool angel, as they say. And I think that if you want to live your recovery and your sobriety and your healthy whole lifestyle out loud, then you better go and get you some Sober is the New Cool merch, and you can get it right here. And I want to just thank her for sending this to me. It is a blessing and an honor for me to sport this and to just help bring such awareness to a beautiful heart in Kim Bellis, a beautiful mission in Sober is the New Cool. And you know what? Just to let people know that, dang it, sober is the new cool. And I love her. I love it. Thank you so much. I hope you're feeling well and strong. Now, I want you to hang around to the end because I've got a great message from our friends at Of Substance, my friend Alex Kaplan. He wants to tell us how we can get on their new feature film, Hide Your Crazy. And we're actually going to have the writer and producer of that film in our house next week. That's right. I cannot wait to have him here and to tell us all about his new film coming out, Hide Your Crazy. I love it, love it, love it. So hang around to the end. And I also have a very special offer from one of our beautiful partners and my amazing friend, Pamela Topgin and Breakthrough Hypnotherapy. So you can't leave early because there's a lot of good stuff at the end. But right now, I am so ready to get into this Saturday night soul session with my amazing and beautiful friend, Laurie Anderson. If you all are ready, I'm ready. She's ready. So let's go. Laurie, hey.
Oh my God, you used my little pictures with all my little colored glasses.
I know. And I love it. And I love it. I'm so glad. I wanted to try to use, I loved the one with the puppy.
And oh, my little Louie. My little Louie. I love my little guy. He's been through everything with me. He's 16 years old. I got him when he was 3 months old. So he has been through, he knows a lot of secrets.
Mine too. Boy, I'm glad she cannot speak English, okay? Because I'd be in trouble.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am like a nervous wreck. My hands are all sweaty. I'm so used to being on the other end, and I tape so I could edit.
I get it.
And I've never done a live before.
Oh, I'm so happy to be your first.
2 days ago, I was asked to come on because I won a shirt or sweatshirt from a good friend, and he asked me to come on, and I thought that I was going to be amongst company, and it was just me. And I love him, John, if you're watching. I love you. He took my virginity on the live thing. So
Oh
yeah.
man, so I'm gonna be the second. I'm gonna be the second. Well, I'm
But it's like,
happy
well,
to be the
I've had
second.
time to think about this, so I'm nervous about this one. I didn't have time to think about his.
Oh
Oh my
no,
God,
that's right. You've had a lot of time to be nervous. Well, I'm happy that you're here and
I'm
happy
happy I'm
we can
here.
do this. I mean, I, after we had our conversation, well, I started, I found your platform on, well, I kept hearing about you through different people. And then I kept seeing like like the little ad rolls for your podcast, and we kept having some of the same guests. So I would go and watch theirs, and I thought,
And I'd watch
who
yours.
is this woman? I was like,
Who is this? Talk
who
about hide
is
your
this lady?
crazy. I want to. I'm not gonna hide my crazy.
Don't you dare.
No.
Don't you dare. And I just fell in love with you from the moment. I fell in love with your
Oh,
energy,
thank
your
you.
passion, your realness. And I thought, yep, now I got to do what I got to do to convince her to come on my show so that I can share this energy with
Well,
some of the
you
most
asked me a few
amazing
months ago, and I
warriors.
said yes right away because I had a
You
few
did.
months,
I
and I was like,
appreciate
yeah, sure, of course. And then it got
it.
closer and closer and closer. And then it was a double header tonight, Mike
That's
Field.
right.
And I'm like, I love Mike so much.
I do
His
too.
energy is just
Yes.
insane. I go, how the fuck am I supposed to follow that shit? Thanks a lot, Mike.
Right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh my gosh. When we had our conversation last week, I'm telling you, well, I guess it was the week before, but when we had our conversation, oh my gosh, like that was such a real conversation that it just stayed filling my heart. Like I'll still have like I'll just be at work and some of that our conversation will roll through my mind and I just stop and think, man, that's what it's really like to share your heart and authenticity with someone. And I guess that's what really impresses me about you and why I really wanted to bring you to, an audience that is. I've had audience members here with me for the whole 4 years I've been doing this, and they're like family to me. And immediately you were like family to me. So I
Oh,
guess
I
that's where I want to
appreciate you.
start,
Oh, I appreciate you
is
so much. You know, w- I I feel like, when I meet certain people that and I could say like, oh my God, it's a pleasure to meet you. And it feels like I've known someone
yeah,
forever, like,
yes.
and whether you believe in past lives or whatever, but it's like, I, at those moments, I feel like, yeah, there must be something to that because it's
Yeah.
like you just feel so comfortable and, and sharing that. And when I started doing my YouTube channel, I didn't want to do it scripted. I just wanted to
Mhm.
talk to the person like we were having, a cup of tea together,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just talk. So when we did ours, I was like, it was one of the easiest ones that I've
Oh
done
gosh.
because we just talked. And
Yes.
that's what I love.
I
That's what
love
I
it
love.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I love about this whole thing. So tell me, how did you get started doing this? Because really it's only been since the pandemic, right, that you
Yes.
started living your recovery out loud. How
Yeah.
did that come about?
It's crazy because when I've been sober for 12 years. I've been sober
Wow.
since February 16th, 2010. Um,
Woo-hoo.
carrying my coin with me because I keep this in my
Love it.
hand when I'm nervous. So
Oh, that's
I'm rubbing it.
awesome. Awesome.
I'm like, okay, not the sweats. But yeah, and I went into a 12-step program and there was only a few people that knew. It was, close family and friends, and I didn't recover out loud because I didn't even know what the hell that meant.
Right.
I was on Facebook just to post, live, laugh, love for the day, and just
Yeah.
to check in. My son was out in California. My brother's out there just to see what everybody was doing. Relatives were out of town. And so it was just a way for me to, but I was not involved in any of the recovery pages of Facebook. So no one knew except for, a few. And so the pandemic hit and I was 10 years sober at that time.
Wow.
And so it's like, all right, I can't go to meetings anymore. And I thought to myself, well, that's okay. I've got 10 years and I'll be fine. I know what to do now by now. And within a couple of weeks, I was like, what the hell? I was
Wow.
getting
Yeah.
early. Like I have friends I could call, of course, but it wasn't the same. And
Yeah.
somebody mentioned to me that there was a recovery community. I had found a few pages on closed pages on
Yeah.
Facebook. So it was still kind of that secret,
Yeah.
just,
Private. Yeah.
secret society. And but somebody mentioned Instagram and the recovery community on Instagram. And I have to tell you, I was like, oh hell no. I did not Instagram. I really thought that people just like put up like the recipes or their food
I did too.
or pictures of flowers or whatever. I
I
had no
did
idea.
too. Yeah.
I had
I
no
did
idea.
too.
So they laughed. I went on and I was like, what the hell? Oh my God. There was so many of us.
Yes.
And it was not
Yes.
secret.
No
And
more, was it?
I kind of like that. I was like, all right, I don't have to be, anonymous. And I really
Amazing.
like that idea. And so I started connecting with people from all over. I got invited to a meeting that was, Zoom. People were telling me how to get online, worldwide. And so I did that. And it just grew from there. And my daughter approached me and said, why don't you do a podcast? And I was like, I, again, did not know what a podcast was, never listened to any of it. And I was like, but what would we do? I don't know I don't know what to do. And for me, I'm a very visual person. So it was like, I didn't want to do a podcast and just listen. I wanted to see the person. And I didn't
Mhm.
realize that when you do a podcast, you still see the person. I'm, s- I'm a weirdo. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with these things, but I wanted other people to be able to see, who I was talking to as well.
Yeah.
And so we started out, we were going to do this whole thing on, I didn't want to do like war stories and all that kind of stuff and
Right.
make it very
Yeah.
gloom and doom. So we were
Yeah.
going to do kind of a fun thing, like, that old Adam Ant song, you don't drink, you don't smoke, what do you do? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
we were going to just like highlight, like, who did yoga and who does karate. I was doing karate at the
Love
time.
it.
And, let's do, what's fun, and
Yeah.
I did 2 or 3 interviews and quickly found out that I love talking to people about their recovery and how they got there and what they do.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that's what it's all about. It's the connection with other people, sharing their
Yeah.
stories and having someone, just one, say, me too. And so that's how it
Yeah.
started. And it just snowballed. And people started asking me, hey, can I come on your show? And I was like, oh, okay. But I don't know you. And because I started out just with people that I knew.
Yeah.
But I don't know you. And you know what? That was a blessing.
Yeah.
That was such a
Yeah.
blessing because I quickly realized how many different ways there was to recover
Mm.
healthy. I was in my own
Beautiful.
little world, hence Laur's world, that if you were not doing a 12-step program, I didn't think you were going to make it.
Love it. Love it.
I had no idea that there was other ways to recover because I had myself in this little box. And
Yeah.
I absolutely love AA. That's where I started. It saved my life. It continues to save my life. I
Beautiful.
have some wonderful friends in AA. I still go to meetings. I love
Awesome.
them. But I realized that I was supposed to be doing something else. And this
Beautiful.
is what it is. And it's sharing. And I am so okay with people that do not want to recover out loud. I would never break anybody's anonymity. And if you do not want to share, your story, that is fine. That is fine with me. I've done a complete 180. That
Gosh.
Yeah, the judgment, still the judger. It's like it's
Yeah,
so crazy.
I know, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it?
It
It
is.
is. And sometimes we don't even realize
No.
how limited we keep ourselves,
Mhm.
when we stay in the little boxes. Because to tell you the truth, the reason that I started doing what I was doing is because 12 step didn't work for me. And
Okay.
yet I had only been subject to, because I had done 12 step in the past, and I still also believed that if I couldn't do 12 step, what was I going to do?
What were you gonna
Like,
do?
I'm not going to make it if I'm not able to do
You're
12
not gonna make
step. I'm not going
it.
to make it.
Yeah.
And
Oh God.
so I was just white knuckling through all of this stuff,
Mhm.
and until I started really getting my footing, until I started realizing,
Mhm.
oh, well, wait. So I'm keeping myself in a box too if I think
Yeah,
that 12 steps the only way.
it's the only way,
And
right. It's
yeah,
not.
and I knew there had to be other people
Who
like
knew?
me. Who
Yeah,
knew? And
who knew?
who knew there were. There
Yeah.
really,
And
really
and talk
were.
about and talk about a stigma. I was
Yes.
I was putting a stigma on alcoholism myself by not
Mm,
by just doing it this way, and
yeah.
keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
Talk about, perpetuating that stigma. It's a
Mm,
secret that nobody could know about. I'm
right.
sneaking off to church basements and looking over my shoulder to make sure no one sees me.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
and and feeling sometimes like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life because I did something bad, because I don't know how to
Yeah.
handle my liquor." And
Yeah.
it's not like that. It's not
It's
like that,
not.
and
It's
it
really
took me a
not.
while. It took me a while to realize that. I'm not ashamed of it. There's nothing to
Good.
be ashamed of. I needed help. I needed it desperately,
Phew.
and I fought it because I can handle it. I
Mm,
got this. No one's gonna
mm,
tell me what to do. It's
mm.
Laur's way or no way. And that's how I got myself stuck for so long,
Mm,
because I can do it myself. I'll do it myself.
mm.
I'm a strong person. I'm not dumb. I always got straight A's in school. I always had a good job, great family. So I'm I don't need any of your help.
Mm.
Okay. How did that work out for you, Laura? It didn't,
Right.
even in
Mm.
early recovery. So when I see somebody like Mike in early recovery, I'm just in awe, because for a year and a half, I was a
Yes.
miserable, miserable bitch. I
Me too.
I
Me
didn't want to
too.
know nothing. You guys were all stupid. You don't know, always comparing myself, that, my
Always.
story is different. You know,
No.
if somebody was sharing something and, they didn't drink as much as I did, I'd be like, "So why are you even here? You don't have a problem." Or somebody that had it much worse. I'm like, well, now see, he's got a real big problem. Maybe I don't. And it's, oh God,
It's
I was
amazing.
miserable. Why didn't I
It's
just let it go
amazing.
so long ago?
It's amazing though that how,
It is too.
quickly, in all honesty, it's been 2 years since you kind of opened yourself for this. And when we
Yeah.
live in that place of judgment so much, I think that it's because we do it almost out of fear, because we're
Oh,
afraid to
absolutely.
open our box. But
Oh,
in these two
absolutely.
years, you have had like this metamorphosis almost from this person that was locked into the fear of judgment to this person that
Yes,
goes,
yes. I
wow.
say it all the time. Like, these last 2 years of my sobriety, I've been sober for 12 years. These last 2 years, I feel like I'm a newbie.
Yeah.
I feel the best I've ever felt. And I mean, physically, I always felt better once
Hmm.
I put down the drinking, but it was the emotional part of it. I wasn't working
Yes.
on anything. If
No.
there's somebody asked me how I was doing, it was like, I'm fine. I'm good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah. So it's the difference between being sober and being in recovery. Like my
Yeah.
sober date is not the same, and I really don't even talk about that much. I talk
Yeah.
about my recovery date, because
Yes.
that's when I started digging into me and stopped looking and comparing, like you.
Yep.
Well, they got it worse than me, or I got it worse than you, or this, but to
Yep.
dive into you, man, that's where the real meat is, and we run from it.
We
We
do.
run from it.
We do.
That's the
Because a
beauty.
lot of people, who the hell wants to look at themselves? Oh
It's the
God. I
hardest
didn't.
thing.
When I'm judging somebody, it's because I'm judging them because that's how I'm feeling. That was
Amen.
me. And so yeah, you're a bad person because I'm feeling like I was,
Yeah.
and so, that when they say, talk about calling the kettle black,
Yeah.
anytime I would pick out on somebody, it would be because that's the way I felt, or I don't
Mm.
like that person because of it was always because they have the same traits that I did, and I didn't like me very
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah.
I was quick to point it out. I knew, I knew what was wrong with me. I just didn't want to fix it.
Absolutely.
I didn't want to do
Absolutely.
the
And
work. I didn't
well,
want to do the work.
do you
I'm
ever think you
tired.
were in a place where you weren't sure if change was possible, or that you said, well, this is just me. This is who I am. Take it or
Of
leave it. This is me.
before I stopped drinking, I kind of was like, I knew that I needed to do something, but always something came up to give me like this little reprieve.
Yeah.
Like I said it out loud. I think maybe I have a problem with alcohol. And I was like, shit, I said it out loud. And the person's response was, yeah, you know what? No, you don't have a problem with alcohol. Your problem is you have no willpower and you can't just have one. If you could just have one, you'd be all right. And I was like, okay, I'll try that.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. I knew it was wreaking havoc on my body, and
Mm.
I went to the doctor for my stomach, not telling him that I'm a full-blown alcoholic. I've had issues with my stomach my whole life, so he never asked me because it was something I had from childhood.
Yeah.
And I picked up some medication to take, and the pharmacist said to me, I've only had to give this medication to one other person. It was because their well water was bad. You should check out your well water. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I did. And they told me that it was contaminated. And I was like, woohoo! Again, score. I don't have to stop drinking today and I'm saying in my head, I know it's the drinking. I know it was. And
Mm.
so when I heard my well water was contaminated, I was like, I get to drink some more. So I always knew that I had an issue.
Mm.
I did not want to admit to myself that it had me,
Mm.
that had total control over me because I am a
Mm.
control freak and nothing is going to get over on me. So that I could not get past that. And I
Mm.
said, well, this I'm just going to, this is going to happen to me for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with it. And I wasn't okay with it. It was soul crushing. It was soul
Mm.
crushing. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. And the only way I was not going to be able to live like that anymore is if I said to somebody, help me. And that's what I had to do. Now, having said that, once I got into recovery, I figured if I just don't drink, then I'm going to be okay. And
It doesn't
again,
work that way.
resigned myself to the fact of, all right, so I guess this is what recovery is. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
But I was seeing other people that had long-term sobriety, and I was just like, are you kidding me? You're still coming to these things? 20 or 25 years. And I'm like, I joke and say, I thought that I, would graduate. I didn't think that I would graduate, but I had my pen and paper. I was taking really good notes, and I was going to figure out a way so that I didn't have to go there anymore. I would learn enough to know what to do and what not to do.
Right, right.
And, and I was just getting more and more aggravated because people were more and more happy. And I'm like, what the hell do you have to be happy about? This is not fucking funny. This
Yes,
sucks.
yes, yes. Yes, I refused. 8 years ago, I refused to be a dry addict. Just
I
the
was a dry drunk,
same.
and somebody called me out
Yes.
on it, and I was pissed. I was like,
Oh
"Fuck you."
yeah. Yes, exactly. But I knew that I was not going to be, I knew that it wasn't going to work for me. Like I knew that I knew that it was recovery or death for me at that time. But I knew that if that was the only way, my past experience of just putting down my coping mechanism and never opening up inside of me and facing my truths and my healing and authenticity, because it's funny when that starts knocking at your door, you can, keep pushing it away or turn the voices up real loud, but when it's your destiny, it keeps knocking until you can't take it anymore. And, that's what it has to be. And I said, well, there's no way that this is going to work. And I'm not even going to try it again if I'm not going to go deeper than that. I
Yeah,
got to heal my roots.
yeah.
I got to heal my roots. So, how did you, where did you start in healing your roots? What was one of the early things that came to you?
Well, here,
Seeing other people, but what
yeah. I
was it?
was seeing other people, but the thing that got me into it
Mm-hmm.
completely, um, it was my son. My son is a recovering heroin addict,
Oh,
and
bravo.
in January of 2010, he came to me to tell me that he had a problem with heroin, and I just was like, no, no, you don't. Like, no, I would know. I would know, and I had no idea. So I actually jumped on that and was like, okay, you know what? We'll do this together. Because I still didn't want anybody to know that I was asking for help, but I wanted everybody to think that I was such this great mother that, I would do anything for him, but I still had reservations. I
Mm-hmm.
had every reservation there was. And I said, if he relapses, I'm going back out. If I lose my job, if I lose this, if all these excuses that I had. And like I said, that first year and a half of sobriety, I was just, I was a dry drunk.
Yeah.
And then I was just waiting. And every single thing that I had a fear of came to fruition.
Every
I
time.
lost my job. I lost my home. My son relapsed. I got
Mm,
arrested, and
mm,
my husband served me with divorce papers, all
mm.
in the first year. So I didn't find humor in anything that first year. I was white knuckling it was not the word for it,
Yeah.
and it was my mom. It was my mom. Here I was, 45 years old, living back with my mama because I had nowhere to go. And
Mm.
bless her heart, she's, she'll take us all back no matter what. And,
I
I
know.
gave her amends and she was like, "Oh, that's okay, honey. I'm just glad and I'm like, ooh, that was a quick amends. You know what I mean? Like, but it
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't a real one because like I said, I
Yeah.
wasn't doing anything I was supposed to be doing. But she turned to me and she was just like, "Oh my God, honey, this is just horrible," and almost like she was almost giving me permission to go ahead and have a drink and she wouldn't blame me. She didn't
Mm.
say those words, but it was the look.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know where it came from, but I just turned around and I was like, you know what? Nicholas is alive and I'm sober.
Mm.
That's all I have right now to work on. And I'm just going to continue to build on this. And I need to be doing something. And I asked for a sponsor and I started doing the steps and it was freedom.
Mm.
And just a few months later, I was with, a bunch of, fellow recovering alcoholics and addicts, and we were all sitting around and talking and joking, and I was laughing so hard that my sides hurt. I was just that belly laugh. Like I hadn't laughed like
It's
that in years. It was just like, oh my God, somebody said something and I was just like, oh my God. Ah! And I caught myself. I stopped myself like, is this okay to laugh? Everybody had the Coca-Cola cans in front of them, and I just stuck with people who didn't push me so hard, but didn't let me slide back either. Like
mm,
if I was having a time of it, they would call me out on it. Because another thing I was doing was hanging out with all guys. I
mm,
didn't hang around with girls. I hung around with all guys because you know what? Guys don't ask you, hey, how are you feeling? What are you feeling? They don't ask you that shit. They do not ask you that. And that was fine by me. But what they
mm,
did have was a lot of time in sobriety. What they did do was tell me, keep coming back. I say
mm,
this, all the time. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know what to do. And, one of them said to me, if you keep coming, you'll get to where you're going. Just
mm.
as simple as that. And I did. I
Yeah.
didn't know why I was going, but I was getting there. And once
Beautiful.
I started, when I got my sponsor, who was a woman, who said, men are going to pat your ass, but women are going to save your ass. I was like,
Woo, gosh.
okay, all right. And so I started, started letting people in,
Mm,
little bits, but I started letting people in. I started being more honest. I started owning,
mm.
owning my
Big
shit,
word.
not
Big
trying
word.
to hide it anymore. You know,
Yes.
I was just like, "What? No, I didn't do that," but I did, but I didn't want anybody to know that because I'm still, the people pleaser. If I tell you
Yep.
everything that I did, then you're not gonna like me. And I
Mm,
remember opening up to this woman and she was like, "That's all you got?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" It wasn't as bad as I had played it out in my head. It was bad enough
mm.
for me to make me feel the way I felt, but I owned all of that shit. I didn't try to hide it anymore. And that is freedom.
Yes.
That is
Mm,
freedom of saying, you know what?
yes.
When I made my amends to my daughter, we had a relationship that was not good at all. And when I said to her I wanted to make amends, she sat there with her arms folded, like, all right, what do you got? Because she was not going to, she didn't want to hear nothing that I had to say because I
Mm,
always had an excuse. I always blamed someone else. Yeah,
yeah.
honey, but mom did it, but because of this, because of you, because of him, because the greatest excuses in the world. And I sat down and I owned my shit with her. And she was like, she just started crying and she was like, I didn't even think that you knew what you did. And
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it. I can't change it. I can't regret it. Because if I
Mhm.
keep holding on to that shit, it is gonna take me down.
Yes.
What I can do from this moment forward is to be a better person, and that's what I wanna be. I don't expect you to fall at my feet. I don't expect you to say, "Mom, I love you so much." I wanna earn that. I wanna earn that back. And so let
Yeah.
me show you. Let me do a living amends. And not in
Beautiful.
those words, but that was
Right.
that's what set the table. And if something comes up now and I snap or I say something, I automatically listen. I don't know where that came from, or I own it.
Yeah.
It wasn't you because I have a habit of I could cut you at the knees, man, because I'm gonna get you before you get me. I could be mean.
Amen.
Could have been,
Yeah.
oh my God, mean, mean, mean. And I don't want to be like that. What's that
Right.
saying from Oprah? When we know better, we do better.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. And that's
Yes. Me
all I want.
too.
I don't want to be better than anybody else because people, oh no, you think you're so you're so whatever. No, I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I don't compare myself to anybody anymore. I used to. I own that. I don't do that anymore. This is what works for me. I've been called annoyingly positive. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? But I choose to be like this because, I live this, "Ooh, woe's me, if you had my life, ooh,
No,
something
yeah.
what's gonna happen?" I never allowed myself to have any positivity in my life because as
Yeah.
soon as one little thing happened, I'd go, "See, I told ya,"
Shut
you
it
know?
down. Yep.
Put
Yep.
it
Yep.
down, you know?
Yeah.
And also what I have found in this recovery is, people are really genuinely happy and they want to
Yeah.
see you succeed. And I love
Mhm.
that. I love to support my friends and everything they do. When you just did the whole thing with the sober is the new cool, Kim is one of my favorite people in this whole
Oh my
fucking planet.
gosh.
I love this woman. I talked to her today.
Yes.
She's hilarious.
She
And
is.
I
Love
just,
her.
it's genuine, she's
Yeah.
genuine. And,
Yeah.
I buy all kinds of merch all the time. And I'm like showing it off to everybody because it's like, look at my friend, because
Yeah.
I'm genuinely happy for everybody.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
never like that before because if I showed anybody that I was happy for them, I wanted something from you. I would only do it because I wanted something from you. So I'm going to be
Mhm.
nice to you and I'm going to do this, 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 and this because I'm expecting something in return.
Yep.
Because that's how people treated me. I had the great cocaine because I had a good job. So I had the good
Yep.
stuff. People knew
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so cool. I would import all my wine, in from Italy. I'm this, sophisticated. The blackout asshole on the floor don't remember shit. Yeah, I'm so sophisticated. Yeah, okay.
Right. Right.
But I wanted something from you, and you wanted something from me, and so unlearning all of that.
Oh my gosh. The unlearning. It's a great point you just made. The unlearning
Somebody
that.
offered to. She walked up to me. I never met this woman before, and I shared in a meeting that I lost my house. And she came up to me after the meeting and she's like, "Hi, Laurie, my name is, I have a condo and, it has an extra room and you're more than happy to stay there." And I looked at her like, "Who are you? Why are you being nice to me? What do you want from me?" Like
Right.
I automatically was like, "This is not for real."
Yep.
And boy,
Yep.
was I wrong. And we're still friends, she
That's
and I.
amazing. That's
It
amazing.
is amazing with this community that how we support each other. And
It's genuine. Yeah, it's genuine. And when you live in a transactional world like we do, and you can't really be in active addiction and not live in a transactional world. And it seems like before you know it, it becomes, like you're saying, all that you know. But you're right. In this
yeah,
community, when you begin to open up and do your own healing, you start to realize what we're actually doing here. And
mhm,
we're actually here for this experience. And we're here for these experiences with other human beings. That's why we're all so different and we're all so
mhm,
diverse. And when we
mhm,
keep ourselves away from these or that, or only by ourselves because we're scared to get hurt, we also keep
mhm.
ourselves from these beautiful experiences. And it's not to say that there aren't still, you know, people that we meet in community and stuff that are still living within that paradigm, but it doesn't seem to demolish our spirit like it used
Right.
to when it would
Yes.
happen, because you see that they're still in a place of living within that hurt where
Mhm.
they can't understand that this is experience. And
Yes.
so, when I get to really meet beautiful human beings, I people sometimes have accused me of, how can you say you love me? You don't know me. I love you because we share this earth and we are more one than we are separate, no matter
Absolutely.
what. And I just want
Absolutely.
you to see the greatness in you. Where I used to only see the ways that, you might hurt me or what you
Yes.
wanted from me,
Yes. Yes.
now I see the greatness within you.
When
And
I
all
when
I
I
want is you
see
to see it.
somebody in recovery, yeah, I love you. I love the shit out of you.
Yes.
I
You
know
better
your
believe
heart.
it.
I know
Yes.
your heart. I
I know you're
know what that
chosen.
feels like. I don't
Mm.
want anybody to ever feel like that. Do
Yes.
I love do I like everybody?
Right.
No.
Right.
Because everybody's
Right.
got a different personality, but I do
Yes.
not wish you any harm. Personalities are different. People rub you the wrong way,
Yes.
and and that's okay too. And that was another thing. Oh my God, I'm not supposed to hate anybody. I don't hate anybody, but some people I don't like. I don't care for.
Right.
Um, and that's okay. And I had to
Yeah.
learn that. Like, but if I don't like them, how could I love them? But I do. I do love them.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
want them to know that, recovery is possible. And I wish you only the best. And I learned that from doing, the resentments I had toward people. You did me wrong, and I had to take my part in it. What was my part? They were an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a part.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no part in this. They were just assholes. And I crack up that because I could see it now. I could see it now. And when I started to realize that, well, you know what? I was drunk out of my mind all the time. I was not present. I was passed out on the couch half the time. What time did I give you? And although I don't condone some of the actions that were taken, I do see it. I could see it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not angry. I'm not angry.
Mm-hmm.
My sponsor was, pray for the person, pray for them. Like, I was like, pray for them. And she's like, and not to get hit by a bus. And I'm like, oh, come on.
But you don't know what they did to me.
No, you have no idea what they did to me.
Yeah.
So, it started out, maybe with a bus, and, then it went down to like a little pickup truck, and maybe like,
A
maybe with an
scooter.
ambulance, maybe like a scooter with an ambulance standing by. All right, all right. I
We're
joke,
making
but I'm not.
progress.
But I'm not. But I'm not. But
Yeah,
I joke, but I'm not joking. Like it.
it's true.
I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive. Who am I to judge? And these things happen. And when I look at them, it's because they were coming from a not so great place either. So if I want somebody to forgive me for the things that I had said or done, I have to do the same. And, my daughter used to accuse me all the time of, that I loved my son more than her. And it was not that at all. It had nothing to do with that at all. He was in addiction, and I knew how that was. So we had this
Mm,
connection because she would say to
yeah.
me, what do I have to do? Heroin for you to, pay attention? And
Oh,
that
wow.
would kill me. But it was just so different because
Mm,
we could we could sit and not say anything and know what the person's thinking.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
going into a meeting and somebody's rambling like I'm doing right now.
Mm.
Like rambling, and I don't even know what I'm
Keep going.
saying. I don't think anybody understands, and you've got 10 people going, yeah, we do. We got you.
Absolutely.
We get you. We
Absolutely.
get it. And
Absolutely.
that's the beautiful part. There is no shame in it.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shame.
And not to mention too, one of the big moments, in my life was and in my recovery and life was the moment that I realized by holding on and keeping score. So I went through a lot of child abuse, and I knew that I felt trapped in the wrong skin from like the
Mhm.
time I was 4. And
Mhm.
so like I had all this stuff, and I truly felt like, and I would say it all the time, that I was God's little joke, that if God
Yeah.
had something bad to happen to somebody, it would happen to me. And
Yeah.
the moment of freedom came, and when I realized that all of that anger and all of that unforgiveness and all that keeping score was only poisoning me,
Yeah.
that these people, whether
Mhm.
they were thinking about it or not, they were
Yeah.
living their lives, and
Yeah.
I was
They were
still
sleeping
holding on
just
to it.
fine. Yeah. They were
Yes.
sleeping just fine.
Yes. And when that that was a moment of empowerment. And
Yes.
that was the shift in my whole consciousness in that moment was, wait a minute,
Mhm.
I'm giving my power away. It wasn't my choice then, but it's my choice now. And when I realized what was happening in the brain, that every time I replayed that, it was
Mm.
happening. My body was going through the same
Mhm.
processes
It's
of
crazy,
when it
isn't it?
happened 20 years ago. And
Mhm.
man, that woke
You
me
can hold on
up.
to that and hold on to that and hold on to that. And you wanna know something that I have found was even though I had those feelings of, of insecurities and not being good enough and all that, they were mine. That's all I knew
Yes.
how to think about. And
Yes.
so there's a comfort in that still.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you give up drinking. I used to listen to breakup songs on the radio and cry my eyes out because I was, crying over a bottle of vodka. Like, but that's all we know. That's
Yep.
all we know. So we're
Yep.
so used to that chaos and that anxiety and that depression, and we
Yes.
don't like it, but that's all we're used to.
But that's what
So
we
when
know.
we start to get good things happening, you're like, wait a minute, something bad's gonna happen. I
Yeah.
just know
Yeah.
it, and
Weight. Yeah.
but blaming other people was like my number one go-to because it was not me, it was everybody else. But
Yeah.
that saying again, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Exactly.
And it's just,
Exactly.
over and over and over and replaying that same tape, and it's like, "Girl, shut the
Stop
fuck
the
up.
tape. Exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Ex- right.
You
Exactly.
asshole." Like, get
Yes.
on with your life.
Exactly.
Get on with your life.
Yes. Exactly.
You
Yeah.
you have a life to live and
Yeah.
start doing it, man, because I did not want to live like that. I don't want to be depressed all the time. I don't want to
No.
be ashamed. I don't want to have these thoughts of suicide. And I tried a couple of times, like I just don't want to be here. For There was no reason other than myself bullying
Mm.
me. I was the bully. You're not
Yes.
good enough. You're
Yes.
stupid. You're,
Yes. You
nobody
could have
said
done
that.
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
You could
no
have done
one
things
said
different.
that to me. No one. My mom, my dad, no one said that to me. I said it to me. Where did it come from? I
Mm.
don't know. Um, but alls I do know is that, I I'm a nice person.
Yes, you
You're
are.
nice to me. I'll be nice to you. Can't we all just get along? Like,
Can't
I
we?
know I sound
Can't
so
we
fucking
please?
corny, but it's like
It's so
it
true,
could be so
though.
simple. Just be
It's so
kind.
true.
Be
It
kind.
is. And drop the
Yeah.
judgment. That
Yes.
seems to
Yes.
be what the our entire world is
Mhm.
going through, is just like this inability to open their hearts and realize how one we all
You
truly
all are.
are, because we want to stay safe in our box, and we don't want to
Yeah.
test our love walk. We don't want to test that by listening to someone else. But when we listen to each other, we realize how the same we are, you
Yes.
know, and what
It's
we're missing out
remarkable.
on. It
Yes, it's
is.
remarkable.
It
It
is. That
surely is. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm going to be 50 or I'm pushing 60 for Christ's
You're
sakes.
doing damn good, mama. You're
It's
doing
so
good.
funny because I remember seeing this show, and it was a talk show, and this was years ago, and I think I was in my late 20s or early 30s at the time, and I think it was an Oprah show. It could have been an Oprah show, and I think she had on like 6 different guests, and each one of them were in their like in a different decade. Who was 20, who was 30, who was 40, who was 50, who was 60, who was 70. And she asked each person what they thought of, and I remember the one saying when she was, in the 50 and the 60-year-olds, you find out who you really are and you're okay with it. You've
Mm.
made peace with it. And I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to be 50 or 60 to find out who I really am. And here I am. Here I am. I'm
Ta-da.
finding out that I'm a good person. I love people. I love to see people succeed. I just
Yes.
I don't care so much about what other people think about me anymore. I was, the people pleaser, they're not going to like me if I do this, or or they're going to be mad if I do that. And, I'll buy the
Mm-hmm.
whole bar around a drink so they'll really like me. Who the fuck are they? I don't even know who they are,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but blow off a family member for something really important because I, need to be important over here. I'm finding out what's really important in my
Mm-hmm.
life. And it's not other people's opinions. That's for damn sure. That's
Amen
for
to
damn sure.
that. Amen to that. I
Mhm,
tell you,
mhm.
I loved turning 40, and I couldn't, I didn't plan to. I wanted to be, I truly did my best to be a part of that 27 club, because my idols
Yes.
as a musician and the people that I chased down to be like, they were all part of the 27 club. And
Mm,
so I really thought I was going to be, I didn't want to be here, but I
me
remember
neither.
turning 40, and all of a sudden things just started like like the book of my life, like the wisdom of my life all of a sudden began to unfold itself. And all of a sudden I wasn't so upset and angry about the decisions. I stopped regretting
Yeah.
not taking the road that people told me I should have. And I started just appreciating the road I was on. And then at 44, I'm 4 years into my recovery. I'm already recovering out loud, and I'm talking to people about healing your root causes, and
Yeah.
just get to the root of that. And then all of a sudden here comes this gender transition at 44 that says, "Hey, what about me?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, you be quiet.
You be
We
quiet.
healed. We healed the trauma. We healed
Mm,
all of that. You be quiet. We finally got a
yeah.
life that we kind of like."
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't be quiet anymore. And it just kept saying,
That's all
"If you
due
don't."
to sobriety and recovery.
Exactly. It
You're
is.
recovering and you're like, you know what? This is okay.
Yes.
And so when I
I gotta
see
be
people,
me.
yeah, when I see people in their, teens and 20s and 30s doing this thing, I'm just like, yes.
Yes.
I know what's coming next for you, and it's so fucking good, and you don't have to wait until
Yes.
you're 40, 50, 60,
Yes.
70 years old to get it.
Yes.
Good for
Yes.
you. Oh my God. I'm always the one
Yes.
that puts up the hands and the hearts. Oh, you go, girl. You go, boy. This is so awesome. But I fucking mean it because I know
I do
what's
too.
coming. I
Yes.
know what's coming.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
awesome.
That's why I get so excited about Mike and
Yeah,
even
I know.
Curtis and Danny with the sober app. I'm seeing these people in
Love
new
them.
recovery
Yeah,
getting this stuff, and you're not having a white knuckle and wait. It's like, oh
yeah,
my gosh, it was worth it.
yeah, yeah,
Like people are getting it earlier, and
yeah.
that swells
And
my
I and I
heart.
and I love when they say that, and I love when people in recovery, when they're recovering out loud, that they don't try to sugarcoat it. That's why I think I like
Yeah.
Mike so much
Yeah. Yeah.
and others, but he,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a shitty day because it's not all peaches and cream like I
Oh
thought. I thought
no.
it was
Oh
gonna
no.
Cinderella, Snow
No.
White with the birds chirping on my shoulder. Like, when the hell are the birds gonna start chirping because
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
sucks? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
because people are getting it earlier and earlier, and they are listening to other people saying that this is how it's not just about putting down the drink or the drug, which I
Right.
thought that that's all I had to do.
I did too. Well, that's what everybody said. Remember? Well, if you'll just stop
Just don't
drinking or
drink and go to
using,
meetings. Don't drink and go
yeah,
to meetings. Don't drink. So
you'll
I
be
was like,
fine.
okay, all right, I'm not
Yeah.
drinking and I'm going to meetings and I'm fucking
Yeah.
miserable.
And I hate life.
I
Yes.
hate my
Yes.
life. What did
Yes.
I do so wrong in another life that I have to do
Right.
this?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely
Nothing.
fucking nothing. And that's why I love, my whole thing has changed, that I don't just do 12-step recovery. I continue to do it because I love it. It's like my
Mhm.
roots, and
It's beautiful.
just like I was born a Catholic, and for the longest time I didn't want to be Catholic anymore. But it's part of my roots, and I'll die a Catholic. I don't
Hmm.
like everything about the Catholic Church, but this is what I was brought up with, and that's what I will stick with.
And
And
it
it's the same
feels good
thing
to
with,
you.
and
Yeah.
it feels good to me. And because it's not a religion anymore. And I love when Mike said that too. It's not
Yeah.
about,
Yes.
it's a relationship.
It's relationship.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not religion, it's a relationship. So
Yeah.
whether I am, whatever religion that you are, I found a relationship with God, and I was just
Yes.
Catholic. So, and it's the same thing that goes with AA. There are some things that I don't like in AA. And so that saying of, take what you like and leave the
Yep.
rest.
Yep. Yep.
So, but I have, incorporated, meditation and yoga and podcasts and reading material up the yin yang.
Oh
And
my
sometimes I'm
gosh.
reading a book and I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't think this is going to work for me. And then I start laughing because it's something that was going to take a little work, and I don't want to
Yep.
work because
Yep.
my 12 years, I'm good. What the hell do I got to do that for? Just when you think you got it, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
I just need to be more open, and I have conversations every day with over 100 recovering or recovered, however they choose to be called, um,
Yeah.
addicts and alcoholics. And that's part of my recovery, is to reach out to people. And the phone that felt like the 100-pound weight that I would never call anybody. I didn't want
Mm,
anybody to know what was going on with me.
right.
Now
I can handle it.
yeah, I don't want anybody to know I'm supposed to be, good.
Hmm.
I'm not drinking anymore, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I'm always there. I want to be there. I know what it feels like. If
Yeah.
somebody's telling me something that I have no idea what they're talking about because I have not had that experience, I will guide them to someone that does. Or I don't pretend that I know it all, because I don't. I used
Yeah.
to think, oh, I know everything. I
Yeah.
know, I know,
Yeah.
I know
I
shit.
know. I know.
I know shit. That's
Amen.
what I know. I know that I don't know shit.
Amen.
But I have some experience. I have some strength, and I have some hope to share with you.
You
I
certainly do.
apparently, LC, I put myself out there too much because somebody asked me for help and I got myself hacked on Instagram. Buggers,
No.
they got
Oh
me. That's all right.
gosh.
I mean, you know what? I was very devastated when it first happened. Like,
I
oh
know.
my God, I worked so hard on this and
I
building the
know.
relationships, and I was like, you know what? I can't cry over this either, because it's a page.
And you're making a
I have
difference.
some true friends. I started a new one. And,
Yes.
within like a week, I had, 500 people back, and of course it was like, oh, I still don't have the 1,300 people I had, which 1,300 people is nothing compared to some people. But it was that ego
Of
working.
course.
Where are
Yes.
they going to find
Yes.
me? Where are they going to get all
Yes.
their good advice from? Like my
Yeah.
little pearls of wisdom. Where really, really,
And
really.
usually there's always a lesson and a blessing within everything.
Always, always, and I just said,
There
you know what,
is.
to new beginnings, and I've met some
Absolutely.
new people, and
Yes.
I've gotten, people have reached out to me, and, that I didn't even know before, so
It's amazing.
it's always, I always say, everything happens for a reason. Every time my husband says that to me, because when I say, tell him something that's going on, and he loves to mock me about that.
But
But
it
it does.
does. It
It
really
does.
does.
It
It
really,
does.
really does.
I walked away, I had to really respect and make some space for my own healing a year ago. And at a certain point, doing Recovery Soulful, we were doing we were reaching 40,000 people a day on Facebook. And I needed to hit that test because it had become less authentic to me, because my life was trying to go through a whole nother change on the inside of me.
Mhm,
And I was
mhm.
trying to still hold on to this. And it wasn't working. And I had to deal with that ego thing where, I had to say, I gotta go for a little while, y'all. I gotta go for a little while. I gotta respect my healing. My wife had been asleep for 7 years and was waking up now to life. Whole nother story, but I got this relationship with this woman that I love, and I want to
Mhm.
see where this is and how we're gonna heal. And we had lost our
Mhm.
home, and everything was happening. And I tell you, Laurie, if I would have stayed because my ego said stay, I probably would have lost everything,
I know.
you know, along with my wife and everything. And who I am today, so much more closer to my soul and alignment, and
Doesn't
a
it feel
person that
good?
I
Feels
love.
so
It
good.
feels amazing, Lori.
Yeah.
Amazing. I cannot believe
That's who we are. We
this
find
whole
out
hour.
who we are.
This whole hour has been another amazing hour spent in life, and it flew by, Lori.
Hold on. I still have my coin in my hand. My hands are still sweaty.
They're glistening a little. They're glistening. But
But
look,
just this was awesome. This was so awesome. I just,
good.
like I said, when we sat down, the two of us, it was an instant connection, and I know that I
Yes.
have found another friend
You
for
better
life.
believe it. You
Yeah,
better believe it.
hell
You better
yeah.
believe it. I'm so grateful that you came, and so
Me too.
grateful that you
Me
shared
too.
so much and so openly and honestly, because we've got some amazing people. Janet McClanahan, Pamela Topchian, my friend, Andrea Litton is here. I know Kim Bellis was here.
My
Joe
teammate.
Potosi. There's so many beautiful, amazing people in the house with us right now. People that
Hi, everybody.
everyone,
I can't see anybody that's on here.
good, 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 good. And I
That's
wasn't,
why I did so good. I thought maybe nobody came, and I was like, all right, cool. I
I,
can do this
so
better.
I wanted to say I'm not ignoring anybody, but I want to, I don't want her to
I
rub a
want to
blister
flip
on her
her out and have
finger.
her like, oh God, I can't. I can't. I get so nervous. I am all sweaty in the pits.
Well, you did amazing.
Oh,
Amazing. There's just, and thank you everybody for being here and helping to make this a wonderful experience for Lori. And of
thank you
course, we will
guys.
have her back. This has been the best season, I believe. Well, every season has had offered me so much growth. It's been so much more for me, man. I've gained so much than I feel like I've given. That's why I feel like I'm on the other end of like I got to give more because I feel like I've gained so much. I've made some beautiful friends, but this season has just been a really heartfelt, connected, season, and like it's just been an amazing season, and I'm
Well, I'm so
grateful
glad
that
that
you're
I was
part
a
of
part
it.
of it. Grateful, grateful. You see, grateful. I'm
I
grateful
see that,
too.
and I love it, and I love it.
I love
Ah,
you.
I love you. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Lori, tell us where people can go and find you and get in touch with you. And also, let's make sure we tell people where not to go because we don't want you to go to
So
the
that's
hackers.
my Instagram, at Laur's_sober world. It's not Laur's world of sobriety anymore. The world of sobriety had me with the white glasses and the sober is a new cool sweatshirt. That one was hacked.
Uh huh.
I had to say goodbye to it. I had to kiss it goodbye. I let him have it. I just, whatever. And I also have a YouTube channel called Laur's World. It's on
Awesome.
YouTube, and we've been doing it for a little over a year, and I'm loving it, and I'm hoping that we can get back to doing it soon. We're taking a little break. And
Good.
if you want to connect with me on Facebook, it's just Laurie Anderson. And I do have the white glasses with the white sweatshirt on. So that one's okay. Facebook's all right. But reach out
Awesome.
anytime. Like I said, if I don't have the answers that you're looking for, I know so many people that do, and I can point you in the right direction. And just
Beautiful.
reach out. We're here. You can do this. We can help.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Absolutely. Lori, you are amazing. I'm grateful to know you. I know I'm
Grateful.
better for knowing you. And thank you for sewing into my life as much as you have. And I
Thank you,
appreciate you so
Elsie. I
much.
appreciate you too. I love you to pieces, and
Oh,
we will stay in touch, my friend.
You
Thanks for
better
having
believe
me.
it.
This was great.
Yes. Awesome.
Better
Thank you
wipe the
so
sweat off
much,
my
Laurie.
forehead, but it's
Go clean yourself up now.
we grow through what we go through. See?
Amen. Amen. That's it. I love you, Lori.
I
I
love
can't
you
wait to
too.
see you.
Have a great
All right.
night. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wasn't that awesome? I love Laurie Anderson. She is just an amazing, amazing new friend. And as I promised, we've got a message here from our good friend Alex Kaplan from Of Substance. And make sure you also stick around for an ad that I have created for my friend and my beautiful friend Pamela Topchian, who is offering the Recovery Soul Food podcast listeners, YouTube channel subscribers, Facebook followers, and all that stuff, an amazing gift of a full free session of hypnotherapy. So if you've ever wondered if hypnotherapy can help you go deeper into your healing, then make sure that you reach out to Pamela Topchian at hypnobreakthrough.com. Make sure that you mention Recovery Soul Food, that LC sent you, and she's going to hook you up with not only the free consultation and the consultation session, which is a 15-minute session, you're also going to get a full free session from her as well. And I want to tell you something. It has been an amazing gift in my recovery and healing journey. So I urge you, go to hypnobreakthrough.com. Make sure that you say Recovery Soul Food and LC sent you. And please redeem that gift. I mean, what what is there to be lost? It's either for you or you learn something else new about yourself. So take her up on that. She's a beautiful human being, a great friend to me. And, I still listen every night to a hypnotherapy session that she made for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure that you go and do all that you can for your healing. Your recovery program is yours, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be one thing. Take everything that you can that helps you heal, leave what doesn't, and never ever be ashamed of anything. All right, I'm going to let my good friend Alex Kaplan tell you how you and I can get to be a part of their new film, Hide Your Crazy. Let's do that.
Is inviting you to be part of our next film. Hide Your Crazy is a thrilling horror romantic comedy with an award-winning script and some tremendous talent attached. On the surface, it's a wickedly entertaining monster movie with a lot of humor, horror, and heart. But most importantly, underneath, it's about the shame we all experience, our fears of not being accepted and understood, and our beliefs that we're not good enough. Do you ever feel like a monster, like you have to hide your true self or people won't accept you? Me too. You're not alone. As the next Of Substance film, Hide Your Crazy will be a brand new way for people struggling with addiction, mental health, and trauma to feel seen in Of Substance's programming going into education, treatment, training, and more. And we want you to be part of bringing it to life. By just donating to the Indiegogo campaign, you become part of this film, and each person it helps. Visit the Indiegogo campaign to join us and learn more. And remember, we're in it with you, always.
That's where you can find our good friend at Alex Kaplan and Of Substances right here, and go and check out some of the rest of the films that they do. I just love and adore him, and we're going to be doing some collaboration too here in the near future. So I'm really excited about this, and we're going to have the actual writer of that film on this show next week at 8 o'clock. I cannot wait. So until then, I hope that you all are full, just absolutely full of information and inspiration and motivation today and tonight with amazing human beings that have come through this platform to bless you. They have absolutely blessed me. I am a better person after today, and I hope it's touched you as well. You all have the most amazing rest of your night and the most amazing week ever, knowing that you can get up from your give up and create a life you love. Until next time, I love you, and I'll see you soon.